Yeah. Wow, this is such a great episode. My mind is like whirring with beauty.
Welcome to episode 75 of Enter the Mind podcast, the most real talk, no nonsense podcast on the empowering of the mind. This week's topic will be why people are out of touch with reality. It's going to be a great discussion, but before we get to that, Kyra, how are you this week? It was your birthday weekend.
Yes, I am now 25. It's terrific. And thank you for asking, by the way. And I'm meeting with my designer for the book that I've been trying to publish for 2 years, and it'll be the first of many. So I'm really, really excited about it.
That is exciting. Sign me up for a copy.
I will. How's your week going?
Pretty good. I'm staying very solid with the morning routines, up at 5 or 5:30. Do half hour. I do black tea now because that pre-workout powder, I think it's been messing with my stomach. And I've been taking that for months and I couldn't figure out what it was, but I think it's the pre-workout powder. So I'm just doing black tea, natural, with honey. And I feel better. So
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Those morning routines are so crucial.
Very.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's get to the topic. What do you think is one reason why people might be out of touch with reality?
Well, the main thing that I think of is that reality is fucking hard when people come down to it. I feel like a lot of people live in that sort of illusory state, like living in illusion. And when they finally wake up out of the illusion and they come back to reality, they're like, this fucking sucks. Like this fucking sucks. So they try and avert their way out of reality, which is, which can have its turmoils as well, because if you haven't been in reality for a while and you've kind of been living in that sort of like imaginary, like fairy tale land, puff and powder, and then you come to reality and you see that I guess it almost kind of fucking sucks. If you were to change your viewpoint on it, you would be able to deal with it a little bit better. But I feel like once you come back into that state of reality that you haven't been in for so long, it's like, ah! And that's what I think. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think all of that sounds to me, or the first thing I think of is denial, the concept of denial, like in Psychology 101, and they say these are the stages of grieving or whatever the stages are for. I think it goes denial, anger, bargaining, and then finally it's acceptance. But denial, you're right. Like reality, I think, is hard in many ways. I think maybe as we grow up into adulthood, as we have to take more responsibility and as we learn more, it's kind of, I think reality is a little tougher to deal with, because when you're a kid, like your parents or guardians might help with a lot of the more difficult matters, and they might shelter you or shield you from the reality of certain things. But I don't know. Any thoughts there from you?
I feel like, I keep touching like on this base that it's like, reality can suck. But like, I feel like there have been phases that, I've gone through, and I love it because it's like, there's the anger, and there's like the bargaining and everything. And I feel like, there's definitely been a time where I've been, hanging out, trying to bargain with God, like, time to bargain, like this fucking sucks. Can we do something about it? But really the only thing to do is accept it and then find like the beauty in it. And I think that I've gone through all of those phases at this point, and I've finally come back to reality. And it's still a little weird and sucky sometimes, but like there are times of my days since I have gone through that process, I come back to reality, and sometimes it's just so fucking beautiful. And I'm like, how could anybody not like reality. There's like this gigantic world out there, and like when you ground yourself, you're in this big beautiful world with these concrete roads and these trees and these stores, and people are alive and breathing, and all you have to do is simply decide on what you want and go for it. So it's like, why is reality so fucking hard? Why are we viewing it as so fucking hard? It's simple.
Wow, very well said. That's
Thanks.
what a perspective. I mean, what is so bad about reality? Certainly negative things happen, but at the same time, there are a lot of good things. I mean, the main thing when I asked myself that question, why are people out of touch with reality? The first thing that came to my mind was because they are not in acceptance of death and mortality.
Okay.
And of course, it's very painful when somebody close to you passes, but that's part of reality. Like like when you were born, no one told you like, hey, just want to let you know, everybody's going to live forever. Like you're never going to lose any, like no one set that expectation. So I'm thinking like, why? Yeah, go ahead.
I know. Well, I believe it's a very strong theory. And I mean, we're souls. We are fucking immortal when it comes down to it. We're matter. We can never be created nor destroyed. And we clearly have lived in other worlds where things are so fucking easy, because we would never think that it could be this fucking easy if we didn't live in a time where things were this fucking easy. But on Earth, it's completely fucking different. We're like, hold on, these people are gonna die? Like I formed like a relationship with these people. I love these people, and they're gonna die. They're gonna leave me, and I have to control my energy and fucking get what I want. It's like it's weird to us because we're so used, since we're immortal and we're like these amazing things of matter and energy, that when we come to Earth is completely different. And I think that, we're not stuck, but we already, I guess, kind of have that programming that life is going to be easy, and it's not, and it's something completely different than what us as souls thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. That's not a thought I have every day, but it's kind of like that reality transurfing thing that I've been reading about, where the soul kind of travels to these parallel realities.
When I used to take a lot of acid, which honestly, I'm still coming back from, so it's quite crazy. Whoever is listening, that please be wary of hallucinogenics. If you're going to do them right. But I used to, like when I first sort of woke up and discovered life, I thought to myself, people don't really matter. Like, I love my mom and everything, but like when she dies, I'm not going to be sad because I know that she's going somewhere else and that I'll probably see her again, right? But when you figure these things out and you dive so deeply into that part, that information that you access, you can really become disassociated with the world, and you really stop caring about people, and it leaves you feeling really empty inside. And throughout my years of coming back to reality and coming back from that, I've realized that I am going to be sad when my friends die. These people mean a lot to me. They have made a great impact on my life, and it's okay to be sad about it. And I feel like that's another thing that comes from like the soul. It's either like, I feel like people have either, it doesn't fucking matter, or like it's, wow, this is the worst fucking thing in the world and I will never ever be able to come back from it. And I feel like we need to find that middle ground where it's like, this really sucks, but at the same time, you probably will see them again. So it's like, do a little bit of both, do your grieving, but understand that they're in a better place and, they're being taken care of, and you will be, you do have the power to go on. And yeah.
It's reasonable, very reasonable to be sad, to experience sadness. Yes. For events like that. At the same time, my best friend passed away when we were 27. And that was a shocker, you know. It also, you know, the silver lining in that was it kind of woke me up philosophically to make the most of my life. And that was actually something that contributed to my move from Chicago to California. So after that event, I started to become aware of the impermanence of human life. And every time I had a interaction with somebody, I started to really reframe what was going on. Instead of just thinking, oh, I'm talking to this person or whatever, right? I'm thinking, wow, this moment of interaction with this other human is very cool. This is very special. This is very sacred. This is also temporary. This moment is going to pass. It's never going to be replicated. And this ability to speak to another person and to be understood by them, for them to have their own ideas and to respond with their ideas, this exchange of energy is very important, very sacred, but also it's not going to be forever, because there will be one day where this person's body will shut down and there will be no ability to receive incoming signals from me. And there will be no ability to speak and communicate outwards back towards me. So this moment right here where there is a two-way communication, it's not going to be forever, but because it's here now, it's very special.
Yeah, I think that that's actually quite cool. And if we can bring that piece of information back to reality, and I don't know, honestly, maybe as souls, coming back to what I said as well earlier, you know, because like maybe as souls, you know, we think that like these people are going to be like our friends forever. And we're like, oh, I love you so much. But then coming back to reality at that point, you know, realizing that it doesn't last forever. And I feel like what we need to rewire possibly is like make it into a good thing, that it's not going to last forever. Because like, if you think about it, you know, how many people do we meet on the street a fucking day? Like a lot. We talk to a lot of people, you know. Imagine if every single person that we've ever talked to became our best fucking friend. We would have absolutely no capacity for ourselves to take care of ourselves or anything, because we would be talking to our fucking 3 billion friends. I had an eyelash. I had to make a wish. So if we can bring that aspect back to reality and morph it into a good thing, you know, and I feel like if somebody doesn't like reality, there's just something that we don't know about it. You know, it's like, because God put a bunch of information on this planet for us to live and be happy, you know, and live the lives that we want to live. So, which means that the information is out there. So if we don't like reality, we just have to tap into the information that God is trying to tell us. There's just a little something that we're missing. You've read how to stop worrying and start living, right?
I don't think I've read that one.
Oh, okay. Well, he mentions in it, and this is just something that stuck with me. And he said, if there's something, oh no, it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay.
And
that I have
yeah.
read.
Okay, good. Do you remember in the book when, like, I think Rich Dad said, like, son, if there's something that you can't like accomplish or something like that, it's just because there's something that you don't know yet. And that has stuck with me ever since. And that's what I'm trying to explain here. So like, if you don't like reality, there's just something that you don't know yet. If you don't know how to run a business, or you don't like your business, it's just because there's something that you don't know yet. You know, it's if you're having a hard time meditating, you know, and it's just not fucking working, it's just because there's a piece of information that you haven't gained access to yet.
There's this point that we reach of frustration. We confront reality, and it's almost like we're kicking a car, hoping that it's going to make the car move. I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think my response to that, I mean, I've been loving my studies of entrepreneurship lately, because you listen to these successful entrepreneurs and you study these people and you realize they're so like happy
Yeah.
and excited, and they view everything as an opportunity. Like, look at Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban's like a grown little kid. He's like a little kid in an adult body. He's like, hey, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. Like, we should do this. I attended an online conference called the Creator Conference, where all these, YouTubers and Instagram influencers and everything, they were kind of talking about how they built their thing. And I was like, by the third presentation, it was clear to me. I was like, this is a psychology thing. It's total mindset. It's total psychology, because every single person was just this like, oh yeah, I was posting the videos, and then this one video just went viral. I wasn't expecting it. Right. But they just said it with so much ease, and they go about life with so much ease and without expectation. The opposite would be somebody that posts a few things and they're like, nobody liked my posts, what's wrong? And just this sort of negative attitude towards life. And so why are people out of touch with reality? It's like you experience a sliver of reality and you have an emotional shutdown, right? See what I mean?
I don't know why the fuck that made me laugh so hard.
I don't know either.
But it's really funny.
Unless because it's true. Maybe that's why it made you laugh.
No, yeah, it's true.
It's scary though. It's scary because, and then the opposite is this entrepreneur attitude where it's like, okay, you didn't get the results you want. Like, all of your energy should be going into, okay, what instead is going to get me the results, versus why did reality not give me the results?
And I think I completely agree with that, because number one, the influencers, I love them. They're just so freaking cool. They're like, I'm going to produce this and it's going to go great. And they're like, well, this is working, so I'm going to learn how to do this. They're just, super cool. They've got that forward attitude. And like when you go to your fridge and, you were going to make pasta for dinner, and you had the pasta, you had the sauce, but you didn't have any Parmesan cheese. You're like, fuck, I don't have the fucking Parmesan cheese, right? But then you go, all right, well, I mean, it kind of sucks, but I do have this shredded Mexican cheese. Maybe I'll make like some shredded Mexican pasta and it'll still be delicious. What can I do to still make myself happy? What can I now do? And I think that relating those things, like relating reality to other smaller situations, can help ease yourself more into reality and take it less seriously, I guess.
Maybe taking things too seriously is the answer to this question. Why are people out of touch with reality? Is they take things too seriously.
It could be. Maybe taking like too seriously can lead to maybe like a root of self-consciousness. It's like I'm taking life like so fucking seriously. It's like, I need to impress this person. I need to get this done. What am I gonna do if this is not done the way that I want it to be? And I know that voice sounds a little aggressive, but I feel like it's the voice deep down that hides inside of people that, sort of makes everything like so serious.
I think that's a really good example to analyze, because there's nothing wrong with the drive of this thing I'm going to accomplish, right? I'm going to get it done. It's more about the emotional undertone of it, because the way that you did that little rendition is with a lot of fear. It came from it had a lot of fear energy, right? Like, oh, what if I don't have, right? But there's another way to go about it with more ease, where the way Michael Jordan would just be so determined. And, I'm still thinking about that documentary series I watched on him, where they were going to Phoenix to play the Suns in a championship game. It was game 6, right? And if they lost, they would have to play a game 7. But if they won, they would win the championship. And so they were on their way to Phoenix, and Michael Jordan told his team, he said, I'm packing one suit because we're going to win in the first game. We're not playing a second game. And that, yeah.
I love I love this connection right now because I actually just brought this example up the other day, and it reminds me of the energy that you're speaking of in Michael Jordan right now. And he was like, I'm bringing one suit because we're winning. And do you remember when you were younger, right? And maybe like you were playing dodgeball in gym, and for some reason that day you were just fucking pumped. You're like, you're going down. Okay, I'm winning. I don't give a fuck whose team I'm on, but we're winning this dodgeball game, and turns out you guys won. To take it from a very popular saying, you start winning when you get tired of losing. And I'm not sure if Michael Jordan had that, mentality, because I feel like he's a straight winner.
No, he did. Every loss motivated the shit out of him.
Okay, yeah. So it's like it's just one of those things where you're so focused and you want to fucking win. You don't care what anybody else thinks of you. Like, you're like, I am winning this. And I feel like those moments, they come along, but like they don't always come along. So like on my birthday, right? On my birthday, I was hanging out with somebody, and his energy can be kind of low sometimes. And I'm really high energy. I'm really fun. I love laughing, and his is really chill. And I'm like, this is going to be fun, but I know that it is up to me today. It is my birthday. Nobody is fucking up my birthday, and not even me. And I remember I was thinking this literally as I was drinking my bottle of champagne that I brought to the nail salon. And those days don't always come along for me, but I was so sick and tired of getting drunk and letting other people's energy bring me down that I was like, fuck it. Seriously, fuck it. Today, it's me. I'm winning. This is my day. And turns out I was literally the happiest drunk in the world. The happiest drunk in the world. I was smashing cake in my face. It was great. And, like I said, those times don't always happen, but I got so tired of losing that I went for it. And I feel like if we can ingrain that somehow to be like all the time, then the wins would just come.
Well, I think it's focus, but also isn't all this stuff manifestation? Like, we've been manifesting since third grade dodgeball, where we were so determined, like, hey, I'm going to win this game, right? And it's like,
yeah,
as adults, why do we stop manifesting? Should be an everyday activity to hold the image in your mind of what you want and to say, I'm going for it.
Yeah. I love that too, because like when little kids want a fucking cookie, they want a fucking cookie. They're like, I'm going to do everything in my power to get this cookie. Mommy, give me this cookie. Daddy, give me this cookie. I'll cry to get the cookie, and maybe eventually they'll get the cookie. But I feel like, so they say like, the more that you know, like maybe that's why they say ignorance is bliss, because the more that we find out, the more that we think that we're not free. But like, I feel like with that focus and like that manifesting mentality of the little kid, we see it today in so many people, like Mark
Cuban,
playful. He's like, well, what can I do today? And it's so fun. And I feel like how does this focus and manifesting mentality come back to the grounding in reality?
I think just too many adults are at war with reality. Like, they're fighting it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, why though? What are they fighting with? We gotta
expectation. It's excess potential, because they think they're more powerful than reality. The weird thing is like, I've always said at Existence First, if there's one thing you respect and bow down to, it's reality. It's reality. And what happens is, when you don't do that, is you have a bunch of fully grown adults walking around, 40-year-old person still holding a grudge against something that happened 20 years ago. Oh, they fired me from my job, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my friend betrayed me, blah, blah, blah. This relationship went bad, blah, blah, blah. Hey, guess what? It's over. All right. Yeah. And today is today. And so let go and move forward into life and start like a river going around these rocks because you're not going to move the rock. It's reality. You need to bow down and accept it.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, this is such a great episode. My mind is like whirring with beauty. So I guess, the main reason that people are not planted in reality is because they're thinking something different of what reality actually is. And it's clear that, reality is, here there are going to be roadblocks, there are going to be things that happen, but the reality of it is you are always in control of your own mind. And maybe I think that that's what we maybe have given up over time. Like humans have given up the idea that we are in control of ourselves at all times. And because nobody wants that responsibility, nobody wants to take the responsibility and say, I am responsible for me. So they get caught in this evil, twisted distortion, illusion of reality, where they're playing victim and where, I can't do this because, my friend died years ago and it was my best friend, or my mom died, and she was my everything. And I feel like if you are just able to come back to reality and say, these things do happen, but I am in control of me, and I am going to take responsibility for me because I am that important. So I guess now that we're talking about it, it does come down to, I think, being worthy as well, feeling yourself worthy enough to take responsibility for yourself, because when you take responsibility, aren't you taking responsibility because you love something? I take responsibility for my purse because I love it. I don't want anything to happen to it. So if I could take responsibility for a fucking item that is disposable, but I can't take responsibility for my beautiful fucking soul that is literal, eternal, then clearly I don't think I'm enough in some sort of way. I don't think that I am good enough to say, like, oh, this girl right here, I want to take care of her. I want to make sure that she is good and well at all times. And I think that that's also another thing that brings us far away from reality.
Yeah, good point. Self-worth could certainly be a part of this. And if you really valued yourself, you wouldn't allow yourself to keep fighting against this enemy called reality. You would partner with it or accept it or something like that. Looking at the time, let's do a power question of the day and wrap up. So any thoughts on a power question?
I do, actually. A great power question I think would be is, in what ways are you drawing yourself out of reality that are harming you? And when you ask yourself this, don't ask yourself this in judgment or as if it's a bad thing, because these thoughts that are going to come up and these beliefs and feelings that are going to come up, they're not actually yours. They're just things that you've adopted and you've made part of you. So, you can kind of detach a little bit from yourself and you can say, well, I guess I've been drawing myself out of reality because I'm not accepting the fact that, I've made mistakes and that I am where I am today and that I need to move past that, and when you detach yourself from it and you don't see yourself as that reason for you being out of reality, then, you can detach from it a little more and you can say, oh, okay, well, this is why. It's just this specific belief that I was holding, and I can let it go now because I found it. And so I hope that this exercise will, help you guys, draw yourselves back into reality as much as you can, so you can be happier and catch your goals faster and, let go of things faster. Just feel a little lighter.
Yeah, that's good. I think this is getting at self-awareness. It's it's so important these days. And I think it's so important to being a full human being is awareness. So I want to make sure everybody knows about our Facebook group. You can find it at facebook.com/groups/enter the mind. And it's really good. It's a community where we've been putting some polls to see what topics you guys want us to talk about. and polls about, how do you handle different situations? Do you like to journal? Do you like to meditate? Things like that. So it's a spot where everybody can comment and have conversations. So make sure you check out that Facebook group. Anything else, Kyra, that you would like to point out?
Just share this episode. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend.
Totally. All right. We'll see everybody soon next week with episode 76. Thank you for watching.